Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Okay, they're going tit for tat. Who could be in the media most? This is my own perspective, but it seems like, when Kamala Harris tries to monopolize off of Donald Trump's statement, it seems to backfire. I'm already to the conclusion, or I'm already at the conclusion that if you're not voting for Donald Trump, you're not going to be voting for him. Doesn't matter what goes on. If you're not voting for Kamala Harris, you probably will not be voting for Kamala Harris. It doesn't matter what's going on. I mean, I know we have those undecisive or independent people that's kind of straddling the fence, but they already chosen their allies and who they're pairing up with. Donald Trump has John F. Kennedy with him, and Kamala Harris paired up with Liz Cheney. So these are the people that's going to lead the way, okay? Their viewpoints, what they stand on. So if you're not decided by now, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's the ninth ending. Okay. Another saying, shit and get off the pot, or get off the pot. So we it's nothing more we could say. It's nothing more Donald Trump or Kamala Harris could do or not do. So anyway, so they're going tit for tat, trying to monopolize the media. Who's could, persuade voters on what not to, who not to vote for. I think, to me, Kamala Harris is really trying to pull balls out of the air, to conjure up, all this hatred. And she's trying to reignite this hatred for Donald Trump. And the people that did not vote for Donald Trump because of whatever reasons prior, and they're voting for him now, I don't think you're going to change their mind. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Let me change your mind. So they brought up some old stories about Donald Trump. And I've been seeing that in the last 2 weeks. They're bringing up old stories. But Donald Trump made a statement yesterday during his rally. Okay. He said that he's going to protect women no matter what. And liberal media act like their pants was on fire. They're saying this word was offensive. Anywho, we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to look at some of Thornton Township, some of the clips from their meeting yesterday. And so you guys stay tuned for another episode of Business Talk.
Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
You guys put it in chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Celeste Hodges in the building. Hello from Texas. Love Trump trolls. It was epic. Larry Huddleston, greetings from Fort Worth. Samuel Matthew. Hello, Chawanne and everyone. Gary Williams is in the building. Hello to you, Gary. Noble Young is in the building. What is good? Little Big Mike is here for Trump. Truth over everything. Have you heard about what is going on in Pennsylvania early voting? They are using the police to turn people away from early voting at 1:30 instead of 5 p.m. Trump had to sue them and he won. You guys, I got a little story about that before, just a little snippet of what happened in Pennsylvania. It's some other stuff that's going on around in different states around voter, ballot harvesting, I guess you want to call it, or just voter integrity. We could say voter integrity. I think something is going on. Democrats are gearing up to cheat. That's how I could see it, because it's not just, you don't hear Republicans doing this crazy stuff. is typically Democrats. And most of the time it's Democrats doing it to their own, like they're in, their own small elections. They're doing it to each other. But then it gets into these national elections. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that today. Anthony, what is good? Hello, all my fellow garbage pieces from Northern Cali. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I took my garbage self to the polls and voted. Yes, I cast my ballot for Donald Trump, and I noticed that some of the people that I were not familiar with, I left it blank because they didn't have no information on them. So I'm not about to vote you in as a judge, and I don't know what type of judge you are. I don't know if you know, you could go on Ballotpedia and they will have a list of candidates. They'll pull a mock ballot, but I think it's up to the candidates to put their information in of what they stand on. And some of the things that, or some of the people that were on my ballot, it was just a couple of judges that I just had to leave it blank. Because I can't, we know if you don't really look into the person and see their record, you could make a detrimental mistake. And sometimes these seats last for six years. I think I saw one Supreme Court seat in Michigan that lasts up to 8 years. And I definitely don't want to make a mistake on that, even though I knew who was on that particular ballot. Anyway, so yeah, I cast my vote for Donald Trump, and I felt very proud. I took a picture and everything. I'll post it on X. And probably YouTube later on today. Virginia Beach Ministry Before Industry is tuning in from Virginia Beach. We have Dave Singerman from Cocoa Beach. Thank you for tuning in. Anthony MAGA. AB, Trump best president ever. I totally agree with you. But you have some people that don't agree. I got this little nap. This is how you could tell my heritage, you guys. I am from African descent. So these naps is popping through. I worked out today and I didn't put nothing on my head. So my tight curls are popping out. But anyway, so we're going to get started. The first story I do want to talk about is that Pennsylvania story. And it's what they're saying is, they're telling people to vote early, which is, that's correct. You're supposed to vote early, but the polls are supposed to be open until 5 p.m. And they're using police to close the polling down. I guess they're kind of afraid that, a lot of Republicans are coming out to vote early. But I don't think that's a problem. What's the problem in voting early? Everybody should vote early so they won't have to stand in line if they don't want to. But if they make it an option to vote early, what is the problem with that? But I guess it is a problem right now with Democrats because they really want Kamala to win this election. Okay. Kamala is neck and neck in the polls. We could say, quote unquote, in the polls. Maybe Donald Trump got some lead on her or have some lead on her in these battleground states. So I guess they're trying to deter people from voting, and they're shutting down the line early. This is just a snippet from Fox News. And this particular polling place is out of Bucks County, Pennsylvania. You guys take a look.
Pennsylvania counties, there was a lot of confusion. Hi, Martha. Yeah, this is big. It's also very complicated. I mean, Bucks is one of the most critical swing counties, if not the most, in Pennsylvania. And according to this injunction that was just released, voters seeking to vote by on-demand mail-in ballot can now do so until 5 p.m. on Friday. Now, the previous deadline was 5 p.m. yesterday. That's a process that we're talking about here. It's unique to Pennsylvania counties. There was a lot of confusion because, again, the deadline was 5 p.m., but the video that you're seeing from the RNC shows lines being cut off around 2:30 p.m.
We just got up here and they said they reserved the right to cut off the deadline at any time they see fit.
When I was in line, I saw them come out with to close the line off. I understand this isn't a polling place, but you're not doing me a favor. The reason these people are here is because they don't trust the system.
Hi, Martha. Yeah, this is big.
So, I can't blame people that's coming out early because they don't trust the system. I don't think. I don't know why you wouldn't use the police. Number one, have you guys ever seen that before? I think it's kind of really on the extreme side that you will use the actual police force to say, hey, we're not taking any more voters here at this polling place, and you're saying it's open till 5 o'clock. That means you're supposed to shut down the line at 5 o'clock, and everybody that's in the line should be able to vote. It might run over. What's the problem? So you're really going against people's constitutional rights. And so it said Trump had to sue him. This is off of Byron Donald's web page or X page. And it says on his, on this particular post, in Bucks County, PA, officials cut off early voting lines hours before they were supposed to. Some Americans were denied the opportunity to vote early. This was wrong, so the GOP sued, and today the GOP won. There will now be 3 additional days of early voting in Bucks County. So maybe they were planning to early voting stops at Friday, and no, they're planning to have those polling places open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's how they have it in Macomb County. They do have polling places open throughout the weekend. Matter of fact, you could have started voting last Saturday. I think it was last Saturday they had early voting. And hey, people are not trusting the system. So why are you trying to stop people from voting? So another post, this is only just a 30-second post by Jesse Waters. Remember, I covered this story. I covered this story probably at the beginning of the year. And this was a lady, I believe she's out of Massachusetts or somewhere. And she, her name is Wanda. I forget what her last name is, but anyway, she was fired because she was caught on tape stuffing the voter mailbox. Okay, and so eventually she was fired. But when they had her on leave, she was on paid leave. You guys were still paying for, or I guess whoever hired her. I don't know if it's the state is state funded or through the whatever political party affiliation she's with, but she was still being paid. Anyway, this is Jesse Waters talking about her.
Fox News alert, Wanda the stuffer just got fired. Wanda's the Democrat operative and ballot stuffer from Bridgeport, Connecticut. She's been collecting a paycheck from her government job for over a year, even though she's been suspended and charged with election fraud and caught on tape. Finally, we're not paying her anymore. The media always says there's no election fraud, and we got it on tape. And now a Democrat operative has been investigated and fired for stuffing. Fox News alert.
And I don't know if this changed the dynamics of their election, but she was absolutely fired. Okay. This was a local election that she did this on. And I believe the contender, he wanted to, recount the ballots. I don't know if he ever won or not. You guys put it in the chat. I didn't follow up with the story, but I know he
accents, depending on where she is, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy. For sure, you don't understand. You need to vote. You need to vote. She's better. No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different accents, depending on where she is, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy. For sure, you don't understand. You need to vote. You need to vote. She's better. No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different.
Okay, that was Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider, he to me, he's hilarious. Okay, he's a hilarious guy. But anyway, he's doing the accent of Kamala Harris, or just making fun of how she is chameleon. Now, on a more serious note, to me, it's really enraging when I see these types of news stories. So Donald Trump I believe he was in Wisconsin yesterday in a rally, and he was speaking to the crowd, and he mentioned about protecting women. And this is what he said. This is like a snippet of what he said.
We're going to protect everybody. We're going to protect women. I'm not going to let people go up to the suburbs or go into places where they live, whether it's suburbs or cities or farms. We're going to protect our women. At the border, we're going to protect our women. And also, we're going to protect our men and our children. We're going to protect everybody.
Okay, so you see that. Now, this is after the snippet that CNN is playing, okay? So CNN, they came out with a news report saying, hey, Donald Trump is being very, very offensive towards women, okay? Because Donald Trump, I don't know why it's doing this. Donald Trump is claiming that he wants to protect women, okay? This is what Donald Trump said. And just listen to what the reporter is saying too. And the music in the background is hilarious.
News statement from Donald Trump out on the campaign trail last night when the former president said he would be the protector of women, quote, whether the women like it or not. The comments could backfire for Trump, who has faced decades of allegations of abuse from multiple women. And of course, it was the former president who placed 3 justices on the Supreme Court, which overturned Roe versus Wade, sending the question of abortion rights back to the states. Here's what Trump had to say.
4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. So why? They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. Pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Today, we will be leaving Wisconsin, heading west.
Before Kamala Harris get to what she's about to say, because I think it's hilarious. To me, it's just so dramatic. Did you hear the music CNN was playing in the background? Maybe I don't listen to CNN all the time, so maybe that this is something that they always play during this segment. But to me, it's like, da-don't, don't, da-don't. Like, are you serious? Okay, you heard what I played that snippet after what Donald Trump said, and just to refresh your memory, this is what he said after I want to protect women. Women deserve to be protected, blah, blah, blah. They told me, oh, I advise you not to say that because it could be very offensive. I'm a woman. I don't see nothing offensive by that. But this is what he said after the clip that CNN played.
To protect women. I'm not going to let people go up to the suburbs or go into places where they live, whether it's suburbs or cities or farms. We're going to protect our women. At the border, we're going to protect our women. And also, we're going to protect our men and our children. We're going to protect everybody.
Okay, so you heard that, okay? You heard what he said. He's planning to protect the women from people coming across their borders to getting into their schools, into their homes, and all kinds of, we're going to protect the men and the babies. He's basically saying, hey, I'm going, by doing this to the border or whatever he's planning to do, essentially, I'm going to protect you. Just think of me as your protector. Why is this offensive? You guys tell me, why is this offensive? I just don't understand why it's offensive. And, you know, CNN had this da-donch music playing in the background like it was like, oh my God. He said he's going to protect women. Oh, no. Not a man protecting a woman. That's horrible. That's how it sounds like, oh my God, how dare you say you protect me? I can protect myself. Is that what we want to say, ladies? You don't need to protect me. I can protect myself. Okay. What are we saying here? But we're talking about hiring this guy to be the president. So, of course, anything he put in place as it concerns the border or national security, yeah, I'm going to protect you. No, this is what Kamala Harris says. They're saying, okay, this is CNN title. Very offensive. Harris responds to Trump's comments about women.
And I'll be obviously in 3 states again today talking with the American people about the stakes of this election and the opportunity that we, the American people, have to chart a new way forward. I will comment on the former President Donald Trump's remark about women and whether they like it or not. And listen, it actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies.
Don't get misconstrued, ladies. Agency, I don't know what that means. The agency and authority. Okay, you do have the authority of your own body. This is not what Donald Trump is referenced to. If you're that dense, maybe you should not vote. If you actually believe what this lady is saying, maybe you should sit this election out. Okay? We're talking about national security. We're talking about securing our borders. We're talking about having 13,000 known sexual assaulters from a different country into the United States that's living here. We're talking about another 14,000 people that are known murderers. We're talking about 400 and something odd thousand people that have other type of criminal offenses attached to them, whether it be sexual assault or sexual offenders, murderers, drug dealers, child molesters. That's who he is referenced to. That's who he's going to protect you against. I don't know why I got to spell this out, but if a man, even if he wasn't even referencing that, if a man said, "Hey, I'm going to protect you," which my husband is, he tells his family all the time, "Hey, this is my duty to protect his family no matter what." That's what my husband says. I think that's very honorable. And yes, I do feel special. So for Kamala Harris to say, "Oh, the autonomy and, authority or agent of your body," I don't know what that means. The agents, I guess, just control everybody. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to play it. I'm going to stop interrupting her, but I think it's hilarious. Matter of fact, I'm going to rewind it so I won't interrupt it anymore, so you could listen to everything she has to say before I interrupt again.
And listen, it actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies. And this is just the latest on a series of reveals by the former president of how he thinks about women and their agency. Whether he has said, as he has, that women should be punished for their choices, whether he has talked about his pride in taking away a fundamental right from women, whether it be how he has actually created a situation in America where now 1 in 3 women lives in a Trump abortion ban state and has legal restrictions on the right she rightly should have to make decisions about her own body. The other point I will refer to about in the last many hours is the Speaker's comments about the Affordable Care Act. Look, I've been saying throughout this campaign, be very clear that among the stakes in this election are whether we continue with the Affordable Care Act or not. It has been a part of Donald Trump's agenda for a very long time. He has made dozens of attempts to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And now we have further validation of that agenda from his supporter, the Speaker of the House. And what that would mean for the American people is that insurance companies could go back to a time when they would deny you coverage for health insurance based on pre-existing conditions such as you being a survivor of breast cancer, asthma, diabetes. And what I know is that the American people, regardless of who they're voting for, know the importance of the Affordable Care Act, as it is also called Obamacare, in terms of expanding people's coverage to health care based on a fundamental principle that I hold deeply. Access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it.
And we know that's kind of debunked. They made fun of Donald Trump during the debate. Okay, the question, or similar to the question, or a summary of the question, they asked Donald Trump, will he replace the Affordable Care Act, and how do you plan to do this? Donald Trump answered, "If I come up with something better, yes, I will replace it." And then they asked, "Do you have something better?" He said, "No, I haven't been really looking into it. I have some, like a mock of a plan, but not really a plan. But, I'm not the president yet, so I haven't been really looking into it." And so they ridiculed him because he said he hasn't really looked into it. Okay, if it's on his agenda to replace the plan, that's what he would do. But he already said, if his people does not come up with something better than Obamacare, he will not replace it. So what is she saying? Pulling straws from this hat. Now, you guys, tell me, what is agency? What does she mean by that? She's saying that This only proves how Trump feels about their agency, woman agency. And then they go full circle. All roads lead to Rome. And Rome for Kamala Harris is abortion. I know some people have this single voting issue, but let's be real. This woman right here never had any kids. I don't know her personal life. I don't know if she even could get pregnant or anything like that. I don't even know if she even tried to get pregnant. But what I'm saying is she never had any kids. And you're going to take this woman and Michelle Obama, Beyonce already had her kids. She ain't planning to have no more. Michelle Obama can't get pregnant because she passed that age. All these old ladies. Do you notice that? Old ladies, and Beyonce's not that old, but she's in her 40s and she has all her kids. All these old ladies saying, hey, you need access to abortion. Then she throws out a figure. Only 1 in 3 women have access to abortion. Now, I'm going to pose another question, and this is for a woman. Will you not move to a state because they said, oh, we don't do abortion here? What kind of life are you living? Did you say, oh, I got a pre-plan for this abortion? Like, what kind of person are you? And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but what kind of person are you? Now, it's very heartening when I heard on a podcast, and it was, a black podcast, and he said, I think he was saying he's never met a woman that did not have an abortion or didn't know no one that had an abortion. And this is just like the black community. I'm pretty sure white folks is getting abortion too, but since it was a black podcast, he was talking about black women. Are we just using that abortion is just a thing? We normalized abortion now. So this is why she has to say, hey, only 1 of 3 females have access to abortion. Okay. Because, they're banned or they're restricted in, I guess, 2 out of 3 states. I think it's a good thing. You just got to, if you want to be an agency of your body, I'm thinking an agent mean, hey, I'm going to facilitate the things that goes in and out of my body. I know that came off weird, but I'm going to facilitate the things that's coming into my body and is going out of my body. I'm the agent of my body or agency of my body. So if we're thinking about agents, you normally plan, right? You just don't go throughout life willy-nilly. And so if you're planning, that means, hey, you're taking some type of birth control. You're not having sex frivolously in these one-night stands. And you're not basing or having sex based off of impulse. You are requiring the man that you have sex with use a condom. That kind of thing. So if we're saying that you're going to be an agency of your body, then why don't you be an agency of your body? Like a responsible agent, Come on now. But so she's trying to tell people out there that you need this abortion. You need abortion. Reproductive health has more to do with, hey, I need a mammogram. I need a pap smear. It has those things, that deals with reproductive health. That's what I'm thinking of. Why does it end? All the Romes end up roads end up in abortion? Why is that the most important thing? I just don't understand it. You guys put it in chat. Let me know if I'm going in the wrong direction. So they're slamming Donald Trump for making these comments, and then MSNBC, they picked up on it and they said, "Oh, we gotta talk about it too. We gotta talk about it too." And Mika, I think her name is Mika, right? Anyway, whoever her name is, don't know who she is. But she said Trump says he will protect women, but his history suggests otherwise. So she's pulling out, all the things. Remember, he said, I grabbed her. Women like to be kissed when you're famous. I grabbed her by the coochie or whatever. So they pull out all the old stuff and then the claims of the essay.
During his rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin last night, Donald Trump admitted that his advisors have told him to stop saying that he will protect women. It's probably good advice, given the reality now. It's a line he's been using frequently on the campaign trail. As polls show, he's trailing Vice President Harris by large margins with women. Last night, he went a step further with his protector comments while explaining why his advisors don't want him to make those comments.
And my people told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to.
So we already saw that part, but I want to get to this part. What she's saying.
Whether women like it or not, that's great. Trump says he'll protect women. Okay, he's got a long history that suggests otherwise.
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just I don't even know. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the. You can do anything.
And when I heard this audio long time ago, I wasn't really offended by it. I'm more offended by, okay, when the guy tried to force himself on me, okay, you just step back. But I wasn't offended, grab her by the coochie or anything like that. I think he's just talking crap to other men. And I think men do that all the time. Like I said, I wasn't offended. Maybe I'm morbid or whatever. I wasn't really offended by that. Then this was during his deposition. To me, this is hilarious because Donald Trump is one of those guys that he's like, okay, what's the problem?
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
To me, it's like, okay, what do you want me to say? Something different? I think that's what. I think they were trying to be like, get Donald Trump to retract his statements, and he was like, no, this is normal and customary. People allow me to kiss them because I'm famous, and maybe they want to catapult their career or whatever they're trying to do, or get some money out of him, and maybe he just take advantage of the situation. But I think it's hilarious because he was like, yeah, I am a star. But anyway, so they're playing all these old clips about Donald Trump. Now, I'm just going to go back to my original question, ladies. Are you offended by a man saying, "Hey, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to protect you whether you like it or not." We got to think about Donald Trump. If he's running for the highest office in the land, he will be our protector. Because the laws that he will put in place or his executive orders that he puts in place is going to directly affect us. If he doesn't close down the border and put, the necessary executive orders at the border to make sure that the border is secure, then essentially he's not protecting the American citizens. Okay, man, woman, and child. So is this offensive to you? I could say I think the media is once again, oh my God, Donald Trump said it, and then they made it something what it's not. I don't know what they tried to make it as. He disrespects women. How's that being disrespectful? I find it very respectful when a man says, "Oh, I'm going to protect you. I'm here to protect women. This is my job. This is my duty." I think that's very respectful. But now we got this feminist movement. We think we could do anything that a man could do, and we can't. I'm sorry. You're not a man. You can't do the same things that a man can. So the feminist movement kind of warped people's brains now that the women are the protector. They're walking around with this masculine energy, whether or other than just saying, "Hey, I am a woman and I'm going to step back because a man is around and I'll let him, take the lead." Especially if I have trust in this man. Now, I'm not saying just give any man the lead if you're walking in the street. Hopefully someone is man enough and take control. But in general, if we're talking about hiring him as the president, he will be the protector because it's up to him. If he's going over making deals with other countries and leaving the U.S. open to be taken advantage of, then he's not really protecting us. And this is essentially what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has done. Over the last 4 years, they haven't protected us. They haven't protected our jobs. They haven't protected the border. They haven't protected us globally. They haven't protected the taxpayers' money. We're vulnerable. So what are we saying here? So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. F Your Feelings is saying Trump gave an honest and real answer about the healthcare and they still criticize him. Yet Kamala gets up there with the word salad lies half the time with no critique. FOH Trump 2024. I really think they if you guys go back to my last live stream, at the end of the live stream, we talked about Kamala Harris as being a Manchurian candidate. And Candace Owens had this guy on her podcast, and he was a reporter in San Francisco, and he had knowledge about Kamala Harris and her mom, how Kamala Harris' mom was a part of that MK Ultra program. And he made some references thinking that Kamala Harris may be or was an agent of the drug cartel, Jewish drug cartel. Let's get that clear. The Jewish drug cartel. And he also referenced maybe Kamala Harris was MK Ultra light because she had a mad scientist of her mom, and she had to kind of let them take care of themselves because her kids was these super soldiers that she was trying to program. So she had to program the kids. Anyway, Kamala Harris is our Manchurian candidate. Okay. They inserted her, made her black. She published a book with black faces that ain't her relatives. And she's your Manchurian candidate. And that's why the machine, mainstream media, do not ever criticize her or critique any of her plans. You get some pushback, but most of the times, throughout these, I think she had 75 days to, get her wheels going in the right direction. They really haven't critiqued her. Most of the things that they say about her, if they even talk about her in the news, is mainly positive things or negative things they could say about Trump. Okay. And negative. Nothing really positive about Trump. Even when he came out with serving fries at McDonald's, they said, oh, this is a hoax. What is he doing? He looks slow and he looks this, he looks that. And really, Donald Trump is just being Donald Trump. He's just being himself. But I want to share this. Just look at Kamala Harris. I think Kamala Harris, it sounds like in her voice, she's already recognized her defeat. Look at her face. It in her voice and in her face, it sounds like defeat has already set in. And she's just going through the rigmarole. Oh, I got to give this press conference. She didn't want to go on Joe Rogan. I think it was a big miss for her. I don't think it would have been a tough interview. I know he would have questioned her. It probably would have made her look kind of silly. But Joe Rogan, I think he's a neutral or independent person. He didn't like Donald Trump. I don't know if he liked Donald Trump now. He might be voting for him, but not because he liked him personally as a person. I think he likes his policies more than, Kamala Harris. And then Donald Trump pairing up with Robert Kennedy. So anyway, I think it was a big miss for her not going on Joe Rogan. Maybe that could have gave her a boost in the polls, but she decided not to go on Joe Rogan. And so I'm just going to play another little snippet because I just want you guys to listen to the sound of her defeat.
So there's still a lot of work to do, but each day I think that there are also indications that we are receiving from my opponent that verify, validate, and reinforce the fact that, one, he is not going to be fighting for women's reproductive rights. He does not prioritize the freedom of women and the intelligence of women to make decisions about their own lives and bodies. And health care for all Americans is on the line in this election as well. I'll take your questions.
Dan? Oh, yeah. Since the beginning stages of your campaign, you've described yourself as an underdog. That language is gone from your speech now. Has something changed in how you're feeling?
No, listen, I am putting it all on the field. And it's going to be a very tight race. And I'm running like the underdog, because we are. Donald Trump's been running for the last decade. I've been in this race about 3.5 months. And the stakes are so high. But I've been saying for quite some time, regardless of what the polls say, we are going to win. I do believe that. Because I do believe that this is a choice about two very different directions for our country. And the choice being offered by Donald Trump is about going backward, about a constant emphasis on degrading the American people and our capacity, versus a track that is about bringing the country together, knowing we have more in common than what separates us, and we should have a plan, which I do, to actually get things done, including bringing down the cost of living for people, investing in our small businesses, expanding access to health care, investing in American industries, including the future of American industries and American workers. So there you go.
And there's only like 2 or 3 reporters in this. So you guys don't get too excited. She's really not taking questions. It's like 2 or 3 people in the building. And it's they probably had to say, oh, I'll give a press conference with CNN or whatever media is out. questioning her. So anyway, but I wanted you guys to listen, or maybe they just told her to lower her tone so she won't get into that screechy octave, because it's real annoying to a lot of people. So maybe they told her, hey, don't get too excited, because when you get too excited, your voice, your octave is an octave, whatever that octave is, and it's unbearable. People do not like it. People are turned off by it. So that, I think that's probably one of the reasons. And then the other reason, I think she just recognized defeat. I know Tuesday, she will know that she's not going to be in office. You know, you got to pack it up. I don't think we would probably ever hear from Kamala ever again, unless she runs in some type of local election. She's not a likable person, so I can't see her getting any other jobs unless somebody just want to say, hey, Kamala, you know, you want to be a part of this show. But she doesn't, she's not charismatic. She don't keep people's attention for a long time. So it's like, what are you going to do after that? You know, vice versa, the Obamas are really interesting. You know, you have Obama, he'll come out on stage and start singing, what was it, Al Green? And all the crowd, all the ladies like, oh! You know, that's what Obama has growing for him. You have Donald Trump. He's very charismatic, so he could do, and you know, he's a businessman, so he has a lot of stuff that he could do. But all the other people, Joe Biden, he got all his shell corporations that Hunter Biden set up for him. So he has plenty of money. But what is she going to do? I guess she could go back to California and work for the cartel again. Or some type of government. If she's the actual Manchurian candidate, they'll find somewhere to put her. And maybe she is still Canadian. Maybe she could go back to Canada. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Samuel Matthews, what is reproductive about abortion? It seems so crazy to me, that part, Samuel. What is so reproductive? Remember to subscribe and smash the like button. He wasn't lying. Locker room talk. Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe it was kind of like, oh, why would he say something? But he's talking. I'm pretty sure it was probably not one woman on that bus, and he was talking shit to his guy friends. And that's what guy friends do. I remember my son, they start off young. My son came home, he was like in 4th grade, and he was like, yeah, my friend said he had 4 girlfriends. And he started naming off the girls, and I'm like, Kenny, he don't have 4 girlfriends. He just talking shit right now. He said he don't know. They just talk shit. No offense, guys, but guys talk a lot of crap to each other. Celeste is saying, I feel like they are brainwashing and want to control women and play on their emotions, because we do vote emotionally. Some people, I mean, I think women are starting to wake up and not to vote based off their emotions, but you do have people doing that. Normal people see through their words. Yes. Get noticed with Nikki. I wasn't either. He was truth over everything. He was talking about gold digger. Yeah. And you know what? The Me Too moment sparked off a movement, or Me Too movement sparked off a movement. You had claims in the Me Too movement saying, yes, he said if I didn't sleep with him or give him head, he wouldn't give me the role. Well, maybe you wasn't the woman for the job, because you said you did the thing, and now you got this role, you got this budding career, and now you're saying you're having head remorse or sex remorse. He gave you a budding career. He did his part. He said, okay, if you want this part, you got to give me something. And the something was some booty or some head. And you was like, man, why I got to give you some head? And then you did it anyway. I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but come on now. And now years later, you trying to call the man out. Now, there were women that were taken advantage of. I think these women were taken advantage of, but I think you have to have the gumption and the strength and the bravery to say, no, maybe acting is not for me, number one, or if I have to do it this way, maybe it's not for me. You can't just say, oh, he had will and power over me because I really wanted this part. But now you got this lovely career. And now it's not as lovely as you thought it would be. You know, so he did his part and now you want to take back your part that you did for him. I don't feel sorry for people like that, especially when you're a grown woman. Now, if you're a child, yes. And even like 18 and 19, yes. But I think even at that age, you still have the agency of your body. Come on now. This is the problem what I have with Kamala Harris and feminism and Me Too movement. You said you want agency of your body. Okay. You don't want no man to protect you. But then when a man tried to exploit you, you let them exploit you. That means you just don't have any willpower or you're not strong enough. And then you say, oh no, he's supposed to be the protector and he took advantage of me. Well, you said you wanted to be strong. So if you're a strong woman, you can't just be strong sometime and strong, not strong the other time. You got to be strong all the time. And that means, hey, give me some head so you can get this part. You got to say, no, I'm not giving you no head. And you walk out the office and don't get the part. And hopefully the next time you go to another play or whatever audition, they're not trying to exploit you. You could do it that way. You just won't get as many parts as you, because Hollywood is full of, I guess, people exploiting each other. So, and then you could be the whistleblower, but then you won't have a budding career because nobody will believe you, because that's what it is. Nobody's going to believe you. Oh, did you do it? No. But I just want people to know that it happened to me. Okay. Then it's on the back burner because you have all the other ladies, they giving out the head and giving the booty to get these parts. These famous, super famous people, they were part of the Me Too movement. What's the girl name that played Phoenix? And she was on the money, that money, not money laundering. It was based off a true story. She played in X-Men. She was, I forget what the girl's name is. You guys know who I'm talking about. Let me just think of her name. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence said she was part of the Me Too movement. She's, stuff happened to her. I don't know if it was Harvey Weinstein, but she said things happened to her. I don't know if she was a minor then. And I'm not saying, her claims is invalid, but she has a very successful career. Very successful. She's been in Kill a Mockingbird, or was it Kill a Mockingbird or Kill a something? And have 3 or 4 sequels. She was in all 3 of them. X-Men. She played Mystique. in the last 3 of them. So it's like, you know, we say we want agency over our body, and we don't want people to protect us because we have agency over our body, but then you don't have agency of your body. I just don't understand that. I really don't understand, because you want to be famous. You can't have it both ways, you guys. Okay, moving forward, just quick, I want to talk about your girl, Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard, she is facing eviction and she's dodging. Let me just go to... She's dodging her eviction papers being served. This is from WGN. WGN. I don't know why I said JN. WGN.
Once again, a Thornton Township meeting cut short tonight, but Supervisor Tiffany Henyard and the board she's battling did get some business done.
WGN's Jenna Barnes in South Holland tonight, joining us with more. Jenna?
Yeah, Ray and Micah, tonight was a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings. So that's some progress there. But this meeting was not without its fair share of tension. That started with Supervisor Henyard not allowing one of the trustees to call into the meeting by phone. And it ended with another trustee walking out.
No one, and I repeat, no one can run circles around me when it comes to public service.
Another showdown in Thornton Township after the 2 present trustees and Supervisor Tiffany Henyard agreed to pay township bills and cover employees' insurance. Trustee Chris Gonzalez moved to cut the meeting short.
I'd like to make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
We here to handle the business, not let the business handle us. That's what we are elected to do, sir. So please, let's continue.
Gonzalez left. That meant for the 3rd time in a row, there was no quorum. The meeting was over minutes after it started.
The business got done. The bills are paid. The employees will have their insurance.
The next items on the agenda included employee bonuses and a 100% tax refund for all homeowners.
We're giving away $2.2 million to the residents of Thornton Township.
Plans Gonzalez says Henyard has shared little about, and that's why he walked out.
Not word one, you know, it says 100%, well, 100% of one, 100% to who? I mean, that could be a lot of different things. What's the administrative costs? When's it going to start? When's it going to end? You know, just literally nothing.
As Henyard battles her board, she's also fighting eviction. She and her boyfriend are accused of not paying rent. Her landlord confirming to WGN News these papers served to Henyard at the start of this meeting are eviction summons and complaints. She told WGN Investigates last week she can't afford for Henyard not to pay.
I think that in her mind, she feels like she's untouchable.
Henyard continued tonight's meeting town hall style. About half of the audience, the residents who came tonight, stayed back to hear from her. We're live in South Holland. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
When I'm elected, 100 million Americans will get...
Well, my think about Tiffany Henyard. Okay, so you got this meeting. You wouldn't allow the individual Carmen to call in because maybe Carmen was sick. I'm not for sure, but maybe that goes against their quorum rules. Do you have to be physically present to be a part of the meeting? I'm not for sure, but she wouldn't allow her to call in, which is kind of weird. Then another thing, you are saying that you want to give away $2.2 million, and it's already known that you have a problem with budgeting and managing money. You act like the money at Thornton Township and Dalton Village is your money. So, and then Chris Gonzalez gets mad and he walks out because you're saying this grand announcement about giving $2.2 million away based off of what? We haven't seen any type of plans or what's your requirements to give this money away. It's a big mess. So, you know, Tiffany is literally everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I'm talking about in her mind. First, you got to do this, you got to do that. You're into something else. But I hear, now this is off of Facebook streets, I hear that Tiffany Henyard, of course, she got evicted, or not she was actually served during the meeting. But I hear that somebody is actually getting her on that township seat. Jedediah Brown posted this on Dalton Politics. I'm not for sure how true it is, but they're saying that, let me just... Let me just share this with you. This is the Dalton Politics page. On Dalton Politics page, where they're saying, and let me just pull, if I could just search Jedediah Brown. Jedediah Brown posted... Maybe he erased it, the post. Let me just go. Jedediah Brown saying the mayor of Harvey, I think it was the mayor of Harvey, is not seeking re-election, and he's going to run for Thornton Township supervisor. I believe that is what he was saying. I'm not for sure how true that is, but we don't know. Okay, it says, has Tiffany ever explained how her hard work and strategic plan led to $9 million township surplus? If she truly is the reason, I'm sure she bragged about how she got it done. Yeah, that's a true statement. Okay, listen to this. Harvey and Dalton mayor decided not to file as Democrats in a bid to run for township supervisor. So I guess Harvey is running against Tiffany Henyard. So that's going to be interesting. Another thing that I think is really interesting about this is somebody else put on the post saying that Tiffany now is the signing agent on the bank account of Thornton Township. I don't know how true that is, but that's is in one of these posts. So you have Dalton Village. Let me just, if you guys just new to the story, Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of Dalton Village, and she's the township supervisor. And this is in the suburb of Illinois. She actually was elected as the mayor. Okay, she was elected as a mayor probably maybe 10 months prior to her being appointed as the supervisor. Appointment of the supervisor because the previous supervisor ended up passing away, and she had received appointments by the trustees that were installed at the time. Okay, and you know, of course, I think Jerry Jones was trying to get the seat and some other people, but they, you know, for some reason, Tiffany had people on her side. She actually paid one of the trustees' husband passed away, so she paid for his funeral. Chris Gonzalez actually voted for her because she gave him a contract at Dalton Village to paint some things. at Dalton Village. And then Jerry Jones, I don't know why Jerry Jones decided to vote for her, but he did. And you could tell in the meeting he was kind of reluctant, but he did vote for her. And she showed up to the meeting like, oh my God, this is just so amazing. And she was, I'm totally shocked. I normally don't come, but I'm totally shocked. And look, I came and now I'm your supervisor. Now, the mayor only makes, at the time, the mayor was only making, because it's a part-time position, it's only 20,000 residents in Dalton. That mayor only made maybe 30,000, maybe 40 at the most. But with that position, you're also the liquor commissioner and you receive $50,000, okay? And then at the Thornton Township positions, you make a base salary of $225, and then you get discretionary income of $5,000, or discretionary spending of $5,000 a month. I think it's like $3,000 to $5,000 a month. So essentially, you make about $350,000 a year. Okay, that's, or $360,000 a year with both of her positions. Now, why can't Tiffany afford $2,400 a month of rent? Because you have your boyfriend, you got him a job, and I'm talking about Kamal. Is his name Kamal Woods? Kamal Woods, he has a job, and then of making $100,000. This is all public information if you guys want to get into it. And you can go up to my last video. But he makes $100,000, you know, off this grant revenues and through the township supervisor, or township is a program that he's over. So he makes about $100,000. Tiffany makes about $360,000. Together they make a little under $500,000 a year. And it doesn't matter if she has multiple properties. Why can't you afford this one? How many properties do you have? At this point, I'm starting to question about your finances. Then, after they did independent evaluations over Dalton Village finances, they found out that they were almost $5 million in the hole. They have over $6 million checks that have not been taken care of. You know, they just sitting on somebody's desk. So we need to really decide whether or not Tiffany Henyard is lying about this $9 million surplus she claims that the Thornton Township has in their budget, because they have not did an independent evaluation. And we need to really determine whether or not what Tiffany Henyard is doing with her money, because she receives a paycheck. It's not like they're keeping her paycheck. She receives this paycheck on probably a monthly or bi-weekly basis. So anyway, that's what I had to say about that. You guys let me know what you think about that. I see we have Justin Thompson is saying the Price is Right reaction from Tiffany when she was picked as supervisor. Yeah, she acted like she won a lottery. Kamal Woods is over the youth program that he never reports on or doesn't appear to do much. No, he doesn't do anything. F Your Feelings is saying, I work in real estate and I would love to hear the details about her eviction. Yeah, I think if you go back to my live stream, I talk about it extensively. And matter of fact, Jedediah Brown actually had somebody or the landlord in the office in regard, or on his show. My bad, they're being kind of loud. I actually had the landlord on her show, and she kind of explained what's been going on. And Tiffany been there for about 3 years since she's been the mayor. But, the landlord, I don't feel sorry for the landlord because she kind of shot herself in the foot. She noticed red flags before Tiffany Henyard even signed the paperwork, signed the lease, and she just still went along with the program. So she kind of did herself wrong. Justin Thompson, there is a TRO in place, I believe, for Carmen against Keith Price, I believe. Oh, so is that why she's not showing up for the meetings? So if it's a TRO, you think Keith Price will have to actually not, that I guess that will be up to Tiffany. Matter of fact, if there's a TRO against Keith Price, he probably should be losing his job. If these are valid claims, and probably it is valid claims. Celeste Hodges, it said, what about the GoFundMe? I'm not going to mention the GoFundMe account because, I'm not trying to be shady in regards to the landlord, but it's like, this is the price of doing business. It seemed like you had ample time to get this lady out, and with the last eviction, because she was trying to evict her before, and Tiffany ended up coming up with the money. But, no good deed goes unpunished. So it's like, that, like I said, is the cost of doing business. You get some good tenants and you get some bad tenants. Maybe she could sue Tiffany. Tiffany makes enough money. She could sue Tiffany if she wants her money back. Truth over everything. She needs to go live in that raggedy house she was renting out and getting rental assistance. It was unlivable, and the city helped the renter find somewhere else to stay. Tiffany would not fix it. Yeah, and it had mold. It had mold in that house. And, she probably owes the state or the city, whoever was making those payments. She probably would need to ask for a payment, or I don't know how they would do that, but I believe this would be fraud against the state, because you was receiving payments and the lady wasn't even staying there. It was uninhabitable. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about all this. Okay, so tomorrow I might go live later on this tomorrow evening, but it all depends on what's going on. Today is Halloween, so I gotta go out with my youngest son to do trick-or-treating, and I'm dreading it. So you guys pray for me. And you guys, if you're out there trick-or-treating, make sure you stay safe. And I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.